the 12 hours, use as directed. So we're getting ready for the playoffs right now. In a lot of sports, you don't consider a wild card team capable, Joy, of winning the World Series or the Super Bowl. But here's what's interesting. Since 1980, 6 wild card teams have won the Super Bowl. And in fact, since 2000, 4 wild card teams have won the Super Bowl. So right now, 2 teams are out of the playoffs. Raiders, Niners. Bad year for the Bay Area. But if you take out the 8 division leaders, there are 22 teams right now with a shot at a wild card, and I believe 2 have a chance to win the Super Bowl. They do a lot of things right. So in order to find out, do I feel if a team is useless, sort of useful, or good enough to win the Super Bowl, we're going to play could win or couldn't care less. Here we go. Could win or couldn't care less. Here we go.
Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, they're 6-6. They're currently tied for the current 8th seed in the NFC. They got a real problem. Their schedule is absolutely brutal. They're going to lose 3 straight. At Dallas, host the Rams, and then at the Texans. All 2 of those last 3 love to throw the ball downfield, and that's problematic with Philadelphia secondary. So John couldn't care less.
Carolina Panthers.
All right, currently 6-6 and a 7 seed. Let's talk about Carolina. Here's what's problematic for them. They have not been good situationally. Cam Newton remains turnover prone. Christian McCaffrey's been wonderful, but they have 2 games remaining with the Saints. So of the 22 teams viable right now for a wild card spot, Carolina is a couldn't care less.
Minnesota Vikings.
All right, they're 6-5-1. Now, they've lost some wild games. That game against the Rams was a go-either-way game, and I think they have a fairly workable schedule. Miami, Detroit, Chicago at home. Seattle on the road this weekend is a tough game. But I think this is a could win a playoff game team, Minnesota Vikings.
Seattle Seahawks.
This is interesting. Currently the 5 seed, a 7-win team right now. Really, really workable schedule. Vikings at home, San Francisco 49ers, rebuilding Arizona Cardinals. Got to play Kansas City, but Seattle does multiple things well. Super Bowl winning coach, Super Bowl winning quarterback, lead the NFL in rushing, and oh, by the way, giving up 350 yards a game among some playoff teams, not terrible, could win the Super Bowl. One of my 2 wild card teams, I think, could win the Super Bowl. Not saying that because I'm from Seattle. This team does the things that Super Bowl winning teams do. No turnovers, high-end quarterback play, run the football in crappy weather, and can occasionally get to the quarterback.
Denver Broncos.
Denver's a hard team to figure out. They play in a tough division. A division with the Chargers and a division with the Chiefs. And but their schedule works to their favor. Browns, Raiders, Niners. They just beat the Chargers and the Steelers. Denver has a pass rush. And Case Keenum, when you give him a little bit of a running game, fairly formidable. The Broncos, to me, fall in the could win a playoff game.
Indianapolis Colts.
Now, you know I love Andrew Luck, and they do not have a number 2 receiver, but they have drafted fairly anonymous running backs, and they have acquired bust-level tight end Eric Ebron, and it's all working. They face Tennessee that they dominated, the Giants and the Cowboys, limited offenses. If they can win this weekend at Houston, now it's a big if, but they've had their success against Houston. I see the Colts as could win a playoff game.
Miami Dolphins.
Oh, listen, this schizophrenic. I mean, here's all you need to know about the Dolphins is the team they really give problems to is New England at home. And this weekend, it's New England at home. But I come back to this. I think Adam Gase, by and large, has done a pretty good job. But what kills teams to me is inconsistency. And you have no idea, half to half and week to week, and Joy, you live there, This is your classic Dolphin team. I don't know what I get week to week, so they fall under the couldn't care less.
We're still
Baltimore
alive, though,
Ravens.
Colin.
What?
We're still alive.
All right, the Baltimore Ravens. They're running the football. Those young tight ends are playing well. They've got a workable schedule down the stretch with Tampa and Cleveland. And frankly, Lamar Jackson is so fresh and so new, people don't know what his tendencies are yet. Flacco's a better quarterback, but you got years of film. You're still trying to figure out what Lamar can do aerially and what he can't. I think the Ravens fall under the could win a playoff game.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay, you watched the second half at Pittsburgh. I mean, they were using backup running backs and seventh-round picks, and they put on an absolute show. Host Cincinnati, Ravens, Denver. Now, they got to go to Kansas City next Thursday on Fox. Good luck with that. But they don't necessarily have to play Kansas City in the playoffs. They're currently a 5 seed. They will probably have to play on the road. But I will tell you, this is the most talented wild card team of the 22, so I think they fall under, could win the Super Bowl. The strangest question with them is, if the Chargers win the Super Bowl, ask yourself a question. Where would they hold the parade? San Diego resents them, and Los Angeles has no visceral connection. It's the only team in the history of sports that would win a Super Bowl or win a World Series and would just basically have a party and not a parade. All right, let's run through the rest.
Tennessee Titans.
Could not care less.
Green Bay Packers.
Could not care less.
Cleveland Browns.
Could not care less.
New York Giants.
Still eligible, could not care less.
Bengals. Bills. Jaguars. Buccaneers. Falcons. Lions. Cardinals. Jets.
Yeah, couldn't care less. So there you go, it's official. 2 teams can win the Super Bowl. About 5, I think, can win a game.
That was very efficient.
Of the 22 wild card teams. And again, 6 have won the Super Bowl, 4 since 2000. And I think the Chargers in Seattle are really dangerous teams. I'm going on Seattle radio tomorrow to talk about that. I'm very popular.
You're going to say nice things.
Well, not necessarily. I'm polarizing even up there. I was polarizing in my hometown. I'm polarizing with everybody. Greg Cosell and Chris Broussard are on the show tomorrow. I want to thank Nick Wright, Kenyon Martin, Alexi Lawless, and Greg Jennings, who stopped by earlier today, about 25 minutes ago. We're going to have Albert Breer on. We'll try to get him on tomorrow. Good stuff. You know, I was talking, I don't know how much time we have. Couple stories on Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer stepped down at Ohio State. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, Colin, what do you know about Urban Meyer? I am not told Urban Meyer is going to the NFL. I am told Urban Meyer is taking a year off. He's got a place in Naples. He's going to get healthy, kind of a mess physically. Then he will revisit it. Remember, he's only 54 years old. Listen, you want to make sure nothing comes between you and your assets and your home and your family. That's where Simply Safe Home Security comes in. Listen, if your power gets cut off, your Wi-Fi goes down, it does not matter. Simply Safe is still ready. If an intruder cuts your phone line, destroys your keypad or siren, it still works.